store last Monday night. The time 5:52 p.m. on West 128th Street near Frederick Douglass Boulevard. Police say two of the men kicked the victim multiple times. The man in the red jacket then, according to police, bit the victim on her forehead. Police say the trio then stole the victim's iPhone 11, valued at $750. The victim was taken by EMS to Harlem Hospital to be treated for a bite mark.
During COVID, everybody was masked up. Everybody had a mask on, and the criminals loved it. There was also a situation on 127th Street where a woman was in a liquor store. And when she was in the liquor store, some guys offered to give her a drink or buy her a drink. And she said, no, thank you. She declined. She went outside, tried to go into a car, walk home, whatever it was. They followed her, beat her up, and even bit the woman. Actually took a bite out the woman. Well, the community was at an uproar. We were upset. I was getting all kinds of calls, and we were ready to go hunting. Everybody was ready to posse up. But it was Sister Aisha, who's a community activist, who spoke to us and said that, hey man, don't do any vigilante stuff. We're going to take care of it. We're talking to the right police people. Give us a chance. So it was Sister Aisha who asked us to not do any vigilante stuff and give it a chance. He said, okay, cool. So we did that. So then, the next week, I was walking to my class. The place behind me is the actual deli where it was at. I was walking. As I was walking, as I told you earlier, I didn't use mass transit. I was trying to stay away from people because it was COVID, but it was a beautiful day. I took my mask off, and as I was getting past this deli here, there was a guy, he was sitting, giving me the ice grill, looking at me real hard, like a man shouldn't be looking at another man. So when he was looking at me so hard, I felt something behind me as I passed him. This dude had to be 6'5", 6'6", tall dude, big dude. He was like, mother effer, so, blah, 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 blah. I turned this way, boom. I said, what's the problem? The first thing I was going to do was I was going to cut him with the one strike. Now, the one strike has a lot of finality to it. He would have been terminated. He wouldn't have been able to survive that. But remember what I talk about, awareness, assessment, and action. That would have got me a murder charge. That would have got me manslaughter. I didn't need that. But he was still talking shit. But he tried to step to me, but then he backed up because he saw I had a weapon. And he said, if I had my gun, I would shoot you, you mother effer, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I should give him $150 because he was talking a lot and getting on my nerve. $150 is 150 stitches going that way. And I was going to give him $150. And then all of a sudden, the guy just burst out of the door. Yo, man, don't do it. That's his friend. Don't do it, man. We don't have to do that now. Now we don't have to do that, all that bullshit. Now we don't need to do that after this guy talked about shooting me, talked about killing me, and all kinds of stuff like that, and was trying to intimidate me with his size. Now, let's all be brothers. But the guy was still talking shit. So I said, you know what? Now, this is a $15 knife, but the knife that I have with me was my $150 knife, which would have cut right through his coat, would have opened him up, he would have had stitches, and it would have been a great lesson for him. But I turned to my right, and when I turned to my right, I realized that I was in front of a deli. What do the delis and the bodegas always have? Cameras. And because it was a sunny day, like I said earlier, I took my mask off, which means they would know exactly who I was. So I decided to walk back. I walked back slow, looking at him, making sure he didn't go in his car. If he had a car, that nothing was passed to him to see if he had a gun, because He might have tried to shoot me. I don't know that. So I walked backwards until felt I was safe, and then I turned around and I started to tell people from my class what happened. I was pissed. So this place right here, this deli on 128th Street, had a lot of shady characters in front of it. But I'll tell you something else. For all you guys who are edge weapon guys, you guys who are martial artists, you have to be able to assess the situation of why and how you're using a weapon or your empty hands. I know one of my martial art brothers, he worked for Transit, one of my martial art brothers. Worked for Transit. Came out of 135th Street station where he worked, Transit uniform, everything on. 3 kids tried to rob him. Don't forget, it was 3 teenagers that killed Pop Smoke. Not grown-ass men. I'm talking about 15, 16, 17 years old that killed Pop Smoke. So 3 kids tried to attack him. He took his blade out. He did the stab-up game and wound up killing one of the kids. When he killed the kid, they painted this kid as a good person, and he never had any problems. So this man who was attacked wound up doing manslaughter. I think he did 10, 15 years. Life ruined. Job done. Everything finished. So there's levels to this. That's why it's a skill game. It's not an attack game. There's guys in the street that have the ability, just because of their fighting spirit, to win a lot of fights. This is a skill game. You got to get skill. And skill will be able to make the difference between surviving, between winning and losing. All right, guys, it's Professor Mo. I'm signing off. It's getting cold out here. Salute. So I just want to talk about when the sister was attacked at the liquor store. And I'm telling you, they say black men don't protect black women. Let me tell you something. We ready to go hunting.
That's right.
And if it wasn't for Sister Aisha tell them what you told her.
I told him, I said, no, we got to see there's no value in hunting this person who caused damage to someone else.
No value.
No value. But there were a whole host of other things. And I don't want to say one is worse than the other. They are all just as bad. But people were shooting at record numbers. I mean, we were in a heavy-duty crisis. People were lighting firecrackers on top of rooftops that were catching on fire.
And the media wasn't covering all this.
No.
It's people like yourself.
We were in the street.
And the activists who were in the street covering this.
That's
people
right.
weren't covering some of the anarchy that was going on. That's what I talk about in self-defense. We had to be ready for the anarchy that was happening in our community.